Alright, so one of the big discussions I always hear is about club fitting and club fitting for juniors. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that and how if you're a parent getting out in the game, you're starting to think about, I want my kids to play golf. How do I best get them into the game? It all starts from getting them the proper set of clubs, and we're going to talk about that. I think it's even more important than even getting them help in lessons. That's why I keep a set. I keep a bunch of demos of clubs, proper clubs, and get them a proper club to come take lessons with. Because it has everything to do with how they progress in this game and they start going in this game. So here's what I typically see with the junior clubs. I'll see them come out with an old parent set, even if it's a ladies set or a men's set, even if they're cut down. What ends up happening is they end up being way too long. Okay, I have this stick here to always demonstrate, and people will think, oh, you're exaggerating, this stick's as tall as you. Well, if you ever go see a junior golfer, they come with clubs that are as tall as them. And we look at this as an adult and we say, wow, that's a ridiculously long club. Well, guess what? That's what we give our juniors to hit. And the thing that happens, there's a couple of things. We always wonder what's going on with their swing. Why aren't they getting better? Well, we take this club. First off, it gets miles and miles away from us. This is really tough to even line up. I have a hard time even getting the club behind the ball. Okay? But then, let's say we start going through some of the fundamentals of the golf swing. We take this club. Let's say, some of the things we'll see as junior coaches, we need that finish. We need to get through to a finish, a nice finish, foot up. Okay, well, let's do that. We take this long club. It's hard to control. We start moving forward, we pressure forward. Now look at where the club's gone. And I'm missing the ball out here and even way out here. I can't even hit the ball. So I make a good swing, I will not hit the ball. So what do kids do? Well, they got to figure out, all right, hey, let's get this club to run into the ball. Fantastic thought. However, this is how they're going to start doing it. They're going to start staying back. They're going to have their pressure on their trail foot, and they're going to get the club to run back into the ball. Well, that's a good thing. However, they hit the ground all the way back here. Well, so they're getting the ball, they're hitting it, but it's not going in the air. It's got no power, or they're chunking it like crazy. Okay, well, they don't want to start hitting the ground, so here's what they figure out. Well, I'm going to take this thing. I'm not going to hit the ground, so I'm going to stay on my back foot. I'm going to extend up and out, and I'm going to hit this thing. The only problem is they never can get the club and the center of mass of the golf club to go down below the center of mass of the ball. What does that mean? They'll never see the ball go up in the air. Okay? They'll never see it go up in the air, or they start missing it. They hit a bunch of bad shots, and they wonder why golf is so hard. Okay? So, this is what I always see. They'll come in, I'll get them a properly fit club, and this is the swing they'll make then. They just went through and they swung however many swings with a club like that. Okay? Then they get this club, and immediately it's all supposed to change. That's what I always hear. Well, they'll make a swing. They'll hang on their back foot. They'll extend up and out. All of a sudden, they go way over the top of it, and they miss it by a lot. They miss it by a lot. What's the first thing I hear? The club's too short. Those clubs must be too short. And it's one of those things that it kills a junior's chances of playing this game well, because the club's not too short. It's they've learned incorrectly, and they've developed some habits and some patterns with this super long club that weren't correct anyway, just so they can make contact. So when they get a good club in their hands, they can't hit the ball. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to start training them correctly and move with the correct club. Now, it does take a little longer. That's why I always say get the right clubs. Even if you just get one, get it right off the bat. That's the big key. Now, I've yet to see a golf club be too short for somebody. I always pull out, this is a golf club. This is for a golfer that's 15 inches shorter than me. I'm 6 foot. This is for a golfer that's about 4'9", 4'10", maybe even 4'8". And I always pull it out. And yeah, obviously it's a little short for me, but I can still put a swing on it, and that's a sand wedge that went about 90 yards. My real sand wedge goes about 100. So, this is a junior club that's way too short for me. But no, I can still hit it because I have the proper ways of swinging a golf club. I have some good fundamentals that I've learned through having equipment I can control. So always do two things as you're getting your juniors started. One, you want to get them into the proper equipment, okay? That's going to let whoever you get to help, whether it's a parent, a fellow golfer, or a coach, it's going to let them teach them the right way to swing it, and they're going to have success. Otherwise, if you get them into a long club, just remember, look how ridiculous this looks, but this is what we give our juniors. We teach them really bad habits, and then we give them clubs that are correct, and we tell them they're too short. All of a sudden, we're in a really bad cycle of never being able to get better, and get better at hitting the ball, having more fun, and enjoying this great game. So if you have questions, leave a comment down below. Love to hear some feedback, and any questions you might have about junior fitting, recommendations, please let me know. We'd love to answer them and help your juniors get the equipment they need.